This is Ryan Sullivan, Sci-Unison Fitness. Came out to New Jersey today to visit Team Nutrabio. I'm here with founder of Nutrabio, Mark. I just wanted to go through a couple of questions with him so you guys can better understand how he approaches his company and, you know, all the inside stuff with Nutrabio and Team Nutrabio. So Mark, we'll start with the basics. We'll start from the beginning. What inspired you to start Nutrabio?
Well, first, thank you, Ryan, for coming down here and seeing our facility and seeing what we do here. I've been involved in athletics my entire life. I started my real passion young when I was 6 years old in martial arts. And when I was 12 years old, I started weight training. Back then, there were no gyms. We're talking in the 70s. And my mother bought me a weight set that had collars that you had to use a wrench to put on. You know, the real old days. But in the last 30, 40 years, there hasn't been a day that's gone by that I haven't either been in the gym or on a mat training. It's athletics, fitness, nutrition has been my passion and all I've ever done my entire life. That passion for martial arts overtook me as a child, and I started doing it as a profession. So I had karate schools all over the East Coast. And my drive and my passion has always been performance. How do I get people to perform better? Not just physically in a gym, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally. How do I get them to think better? How do I get them to feel better about themselves? How do I get them, if they're a fighter, to be faster, to be stronger, to build up their everything about it? And that's what martial arts was to me in those days, is how do I can take a person and mold them into a better human being, and how do I use those skills to do so? And I got heavily into nutrition because I could see how changing diet on fighters and competitors could change everything about them, their performance, totally. By teaching them how to use macronutrients and micronutrients in the right way, they got better endurance, better strength, better performance overall. And then I started to work supplements into it, which back in the 70s I was just getting involved in. And I started to work with protein powders and work with amino acids and start to work with carbohydrates to see how I could enhance these fighters' performance even more so by working between nutrition, training, and supplementation. And that's basically how this whole thing got started. Nutrabio really started years before I formed the company. It started in my basement, where was actually my garage, where I had containers of protein and amino acids that I would mix and match.
That's where a lot of the successful businesses start.
Yeah, I didn't have a company. I was making it for fighters and competitors and the instructors in my schools. I had schools all along the East Coast. And I started making supplements. I didn't know a lot about it back then. There was no internet. You couldn't just go on the internet, see all your competitors and look up research. You're actually going to libraries to look up research through magazines and figure out everything that's going on. So I made products for the competitors, for the fighters, for the people I trained, and that's how it really got started. Eventually, you know, my passion for nutrition just became overwhelming. And around 1996, when I got rid of the karate schools and sold them off, I opened the company, which is back then called Nutrabiotics.
Okay.
And that's what really got me started.
I see the hat right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the original logo, Nutrabiotics. And that's what really started me off here. I decided to take this full time and to take it to the next level. And we launched the company back in 1996.
All right. So 1996, we fast forward now, we're 2016 now.
20-year anniversary.
Yeah, you've seen a lot.
A few things.
Between what you've seen with your company and what you've seen with other companies, you don't have to name any companies, but why do you consider Nutrabio to be the best? Why do you consider Nutrabio should be the choice for everyone?
Well, let me start by saying the industry is changing, and there are other good companies out there. I do a lot of videos and blogging and stuff on all the scams of the industry and the insider nonsense that's going on. But there are other good companies out there. I don't want to seem as though... You know,
yeah, no, I get what you're saying. No, I understand.
And that's very important because I don't want to be that negative person out there. There are good companies. But, you know, when I started this in 1996, I did what most companies always do. You go to a contract manufacturer, they make your products. And that's what I did. I took my formulas, which weren't very sophisticated back then. I went to contract manufacturers. I sat with their formulators. They beefed up my products and created better formulas for me. And I took them out to the marketplace. And my company did very well because they had a huge following of tens of thousands of students across the country that were in my martial arts school. So my company took off in the early days. And a year or two into this, I realized that there were some problems. I tried to reformulate my products. I tried to reprice them, and I couldn't get my own formulas from these contract manufacturers. These proprietary blends that they put in my products that I thought made them better, I didn't even know what they were. And I almost had to go to court. I actually had to hire attorneys and start suing to get my own formulas back. And when I did, I mean, it was like somebody took a shovel and smacked me over the head with it. I looked at these formulas and I realized there's nothing in them. My base ingredients were in there, but all these things that were in there to beef up and make my product look better, that I was telling everybody was my secret formula, that's why I don't list it, was an absolute scam. I was like a snake oil salesman selling my products, and people loved me and trusted me over these years. It was garbage. That's what this product, Muscle Matrix, is up here. That's my first protein. I still keep it on my desk so I can remind myself every single day of how I started in this industry. And back then is when we made, well, not right away. I spent the next year or two learning the rest of the industry and seeing other scams that were out there and what everybody else was doing out there. And in 2001, I was out by you guys in Long Island, is when I shut the company down there, moved back to New Jersey, and I threw away, I put my money where my mouth is. I threw away $250,000 of inventory right in dumpsters. Filled 15 dumpsters, filled them with water to destroy everything, and we started the company basically over. It almost drowned me. I almost went out of business. But I made the commitment back in 2001, no proprietary blends. Full label disclosure. If I'm going to sell something to somebody, they're going to have trust in me. I'm going to put it on the label. I'm going to tell them what it is, how much of it's in there. There's no games we're going to play. Full therapeutic dosages. If the product, the ingredient is in my product, it's going to be there in a dosage that counts. I'm not going to what we call window dress anymore.
Well, that's how you pick up. That's how you pick up a lot of like informed people. That's how I bumped into you.
Yeah.
It was about 2009, 2010. So I was just really starting, especially coaching, dealing with more athletes. And I bumped into by accident. I was looking for pure powders, and I bumped into you guys, and I started looking around, started buying it, and that's all my clients. Before we even had a relationship, I was Team Nutrabio, before I even knew your name, I knew like, all right, well, these people seem to disclose everything. I get the stuff. It's marked as like super pure, super effective, and when I first started coaching, and not even like the team natural bodybuilding and stuff like that, just regular clients, I wanted to find a company that as a trainer I could, tell my clients, oh, look into this and have faith in it. Not like, oh, like I can't even say some of these names and ingredients on some of these other companies. I don't even know what's in these things, or proprietary blends. First thing you do is you take someone who doesn't take supplements and you try to tell them, oh, like look into this supplement. They're like, oh, well, what's in there? It's like, well, at least at Nutrabio, you can see everything that's in there in every dosage. So that was, that's a big thing.
Hey, look, it's a slower approach to growing a company.
Yeah.
But I believe it's the real approach. Look, we're not a nonprofit organization. I have a great team here. I want them to have a life. I want them to grow with our company. But I can grow by giving a product to a consumer that works and they come back to me, or I could just scan them and go for the quick dollars, which I will not do.
And people bounce. They bounce.
They bounce from brand to brand to brand, this is not, I always say the same quote, this is not paint that you're putting on someone's bathroom wall. That doesn't matter in life. These are chemicals that you're putting in your body. It's a big difference. When you're putting chemicals in the body and you're telling somebody this is going to do something for you, you can harm them, you can kill them, you can just not give them any benefit. You guys, I work with people who are professional athletes that are training all day, every day. I'm giving them a promise when I give them a supplement that I'm going to enhance that training, not deter from it, not hurt it, not waste their money and time. And that's really the key, I think, to building this business and building this industry overall, is having full disclosure to your consumer, letting them know everything you're putting in your product. Don't fake them out with false dosages. Say you're putting something in, window dress the label, but microdose it so it's not having any benefit. It's got to be real. No fillers, no excipients, no excuses. Just make the product the best you can be. That's the reason we got into manufacturing, because I wanted to control every aspect of my product. I want to go and choose my ingredients. I want to test every single ingredient. I want to know the manufacturer of every ingredient. I don't want people playing games on me. I want to manufacture from beginning to end that product so I control the entire process. So nobody can get in the middle of that and then start to play games with it. So that's why we manufacture. We manufacture so we control quality from choice of ingredients to manufacturing, right till that product shows up on the doorstep of our customer, who has a lot of trust in us, and I take that trust very, very seriously.
All right. And then finally, you just hinted at the topic. you talk about the evolving supplement industry and, you know, some of the advancements you've made and changes you've made, like big changes. 5 years from now, where do you see Nutrabio?
Well, I'm very, very positive on where Nutrabio is going and also where the industry is going. You know, this whole industry is kind of in a renaissance right now. These last few years and these next 2 or 3 years coming up are going to be huge. You know, 5 years ago, we were one of the only companies with a pre-workout that was a full non-proprietary blend. Now there's 30 to 40. Intra-workouts, they're all non-proprietary blends. Companies, maybe not the big legacy companies, but all these new guys that are coming up and really trying, you know, they realize all these scams, and they're trying to come up with products that really work. So I'm very positive, not just on Nutrabio, but on this whole, especially the sports segment of this industry, evolving and growing right now because consumers are more educated. They're looking at labels. They want to know what's in the product. They want to know what they're putting in their bodies. And in the old days, they just purely blindly trusted.
Yeah.
They're not doing that anymore. So it's changing our industry. Better products are coming out. And Nutrabio has always been at the forefront of that, has always led it. We started this non-prop blend 15 years ago. And that's good for us because when 2 other brands come out that are non-prop blends, we now have to compete against them to make a better product because the consumer is seeing it. That's good for the industry. It's good for all of us because now we don't just compete to make the cheapest product, to make the best tasting product.
It's
now
quality and
everybody
safety.
competes for quality of the product, efficacy of the product, and the results of the product. So, you know, I think that's where the industry is finally making the turn and the industry is finally going. And Nutrabio has been there for 20 years, but for the last 15 years has been leading that charge toward full label disclosure, toward, you know, an honest approach toward supplements. And that's the way we will continue to go for the next 5 years and beyond that.
All right. Sounds good. This is very informative. All right, any closing statements you want to make? Anything we should look out for?
No, I do enough of that and everything else. We'll keep this kind of positive out there.
All right, good. So you heard it here with Mark, founder of Nutrabio, Ryan Sullivan of Sci-Unison Fitness, and be sure to like and subscribe.